So let's talk about QR codes. I mean, most of us have used QR codes. If you want to do, for example, use WhatsApp on your PC, you have to scan a QR code with your mobile phone. If you want to do an online payment with something like SnapScan, you need to scan a QR code. So most of us have used QR codes, but speaking to business owners, I find that there's a lot of confusion about what they are, how they work, what you can do with them, and what they can't do with them. So pretty much, in a very basic explanation, is that a QR code is basically a visual picture that you scan, usually with a mobile device. Now, all that this picture is a lot of characters. So for example, if you had A and you converted it to a QR code, it would be a picture. If you had AB, it would add dots to the picture. So pretty much when you take your mobile device and you scan that picture, all it basically does is converts it back to the original characters like ABC, etc. Now, what you can do is, if these characters, for example, starts with a website address like http://mywebsite.com, then not only would it scan that website address characters, but it would actually, on your mobile device that you use to scan it, it would actually open that website. And this is pretty much where the power of QR codes comes in, because for you to take your mobile device and type in this long URL, it's going to take you character, you have to tap in every single character, it's going to take a long time, versus you just taking your mobile phone, scanning an image, and it takes you there. Now, because a QR code just contains a lot of characters, it means that it can do much more than a website, but we'll get back to this later. The important thing to know about QR codes is that the longer this string of characters are, the more dots you will need on your QR code. So for example, and what happens is there are different QR codes, a number of pixels. So if you take your QR code and you basically divide it into a grid of pixels, then depending on the length of your characters, it would determine how many pixels there are horizontally and vertically. So depending on your length of your characters, you would either have to use different size QR code with a number of pixels. So please note that this is the number of pixels or squares that can be basically filled in on a QR code. So it's not the physical size of the QR code, but it's the amount of detail that is in the QR code. Now, so this is a low medium, for example, a low detail QR code. This is a medium, this is a high. I'll go into more detail about the different QR codes at a different stage. But what you need to know is, if you as a user use your mobile phone to scan a low detail QR code, it basically means that the chances of it being interpreted correctly is much higher than if you have to use your mobile device to scan a QR code that is high detail and a lot of pixels, because no camera is perfect and no software is perfect. And the more detail there is in the image being scanned, the higher the chances that your camera lens will be out of focus, or that the information won't be scanned correctly. It's a longer process to interpret, etc. So there's a big advantage to trying to use low detail QR codes, because they're more likely to be scanned correctly, especially if people are using cameras with a lower resolution or older software on it, or maybe not the most recent QR code scanning app, etc. So yes, so this is a quick introduction on QR codes and how they work. I'll be going into more detail in later videos. If you have any questions, anything you would like me to explain about QR codes or any other topic related to technologies for businesses, please leave comments below and I will gladly get back to you.